Welcome back to Stamping at the Warren, and I'm Kim Tolton, and today I'm going to show you how to make a little beach bag that contains four little 4x4 cards or 10cm square cards. I'm not going to show you how to make the cards, but I will share them with you. But I just want to show you how I made the little bag. Now, I've seen so many versions of the bag in a box that I'm not quite sure where it originally originated from, but I think I first saw it on Caroline Hallett, who's also a demonstrator in the UK, so I think I saw it on her site first. And I was asked to do one of the stampers boards, so I was asked to do the rolling over in colours. So this is one of the colours. So they have still got a year to run, and they're lovely, intense, rich colours, and this is the Delightful Dijon. And when I was thinking about my stampers board, what I tried to do was do 3 projects that were mostly card related, and then a 3D or scrapbook page, and I had 20 products in total to make. So I thought I'll see if I can put a little bit of a twist on this little box. So I went with a beach bag, and I've coupled it up with cherry cobbler thicker baker's twine, and also the Petite Petals stamp set. And the little cards, as I say, just fit inside. They're just little 4x4s. This is a sneak peek. So if I zoom you in, so this is one of the new stamp sets that will be coming out with a new catalogue, and I just love this because it says, "I'm overwhelmed by your generosity, your giving spirit, and your understanding and kindness." So I think that's really lovely. So that all I've done is I've changed the sentiment, otherwise the cards are the same. So obviously the card and the bag are coordinated. So to make your cards, you just want 4 pieces of cardstock measuring 20 centimetres by 10 centimetres, scoring at 10 centimetres. That will give you your card bases. And then the designer series paper, you just need to trim those to 9.6 by 9.6 square, and I've used thicker baker's twine in cherry cobbler on mine because it just seemed to work with the Delightful Dijon and the basic black that I used for my card bases. I'm going to put those to one side and show you this little bag. So basically it's a very shallow tray that to all intents and purposes is a box, and then all you do is you wrap around your cardstock. So I have converted it to centimetres purely because in the UK, if you're 50 and over, you will have learnt almost exclusively centimetres. And so whilst there are lots of demonstrators that demonstrate in inches, and I know that a lot of card makers still use inches, I actually don't do very well with inches, and I thought, well, I can't be the only one. You know, I'm 53 this year, and I kind of learnt both, but I learnt centimetres a bit better than I learnt inches. So that's why I concentrate on centimetres, to help those people out there that, like me, have only ever used centimetres. And in the UK, in fact, it's very hard to get rulers with inches on these days. Tape measures, yes, rulers, no. Right, so what you're going to need to make this little box is going to be, and here's your list, you will need some sort of hole punch. Okay, you'll need some mini glue dots, and you'll need some tape. You will also need your thicker cherry cobbler baker's twine. Don't worry, all of this will be on my blog. You also need Cherry Cobbler ink pad. You need the Petite Petals stamp set. And then the actual pieces that make the box. So you want 2 pieces, 2 strips of, I've used basic black here. So 2 strips measuring 1 centimetre wide by 30 centimetres long. And then you've got a piece of designer series paper that measures 9 by 30 centimetres long. And then you need a piece for your base. You need that to be 12.5 centimetres by 6.5 centimetres. Okay, and you'll also need a scoring tool or a trimmer. I'm going to use my trimmer just because it is close at hand. And you just need to score, and it is fairly rough on the trimmer, so you're scoring at 1.5 centimetres, so 1.25 centimetres. So all I do is I get to the 1 centimetre and then I do it halfway between the half. And then I'm just using my scoring blade to make sure that you move. Let's zoom out so you can see what I'm doing here. I just line it up here and then move your cutting blade out the way, scoring blade here, and just score, and then rotate it and do exactly the same. 1.25, so 1.25 centimetres, and score, rotate, 1.25 and score, and 1.25 and score. Now the difference between this one and the other boxes that I've seen is where I've converted this into centimetres. You don't have a little bit that you have to infill on the back, so it actually wraps all the way around, so that's good news. Right, you need a bone folder, and you just want to score each of those score lines. You just want to burnish those so they're nice and flat, nice and crisp. And then with your scissors, you just want to cut and make sure that you're cutting, I'll show you. So you flip back that one and that one. So I've just taken away the little bit of cardstock that would be where the score line's made. So you're left with 2 little tabs here. Let's move you in a bit. You've got 2 little tabs here, and then you've got a wider bit in the middle. Turn it round and then you do exactly the same so that the 2 ends are identical. So you just take these little bits out here. You can just pinch them out with your fingers, because remember this is just forming the base of your bag, so it doesn't need to be exceptionally beautiful because it's going to be covered up. Little bit of Tombow, and you're going to fold down the little tabs and just put a little circle of Tombow or other suitable liquid glue. Obviously don't use PVA because it just causes the cardstock to warp. So you can get away with popping it on all 4 corners, and then just start at one end, folding your box up, and I'm just going to zoom you back out now so you can see what I'm doing. So Tombow gives you about 3 seconds once you bring the 2 edges together to move your cardstock around, and then it's set. So it does set really quickly, and you only need a tiny amount. Don't be tempted to over exuberant with Tombow because you just end up in a black sticky mess and it's not pretty. Less is more, so they say. There you go. So there's your little box. Now I'm being naughty today because I forgot to get out my tear and tape, tear and tape, and I happen to have this sitting in a box next to me because I'm trying to use it up, and I do it on all my demo stuff but not when I demonstrate, just because I don't like waste and I want to get rid of it all. So I'm being a bit naughty today. But obviously I would suggest that you go with the tear and tape because it is so much easier to work with. So all I've done here is I have taped all the way around the edges of that box. You just pull all that tape off. This is why I don't like this, it's so static. Ugh, hate it. And then you bring in your piece of designer series paper. And don't worry about sizes and things, it will all be on my blog, so don't panic. And then you just need to line this up against roughly halfway round. Just rub that on. And then the other bit that you need to tape is one end. Just down here like this. And these make lovely, if you're a demonstrator, these make super little hostess gifts. If you're not a demonstrator, they just make a nice little gift, especially with the little note cards inside. And then all you do, zoom you right out now. I've gone in, haven't I? Oh, there we go. Right, so you just guide that paper all the way round with the end that hasn't got the tape first. Then you take your tape off here, and then you start bringing this end round just the same. You just work it with your fingers, and there you go. Do you see what I mean? That completely overlaps. So although it's a little bit shorter than the others that I've seen, it does completely wrap around. Then what you want is your two 1 cm by 30 cm strips, and you're going to run a piece of tape all the way around these. If I can find the end on here. There we go. One, and then we do the same with this one. And these are going to strengthen the base of your bag and round the top of your bag, and it gives you something a bit more substantial to make your handles, hold your handles on with. So take one strip off first, and start from the front, so all of the seams are on the back, so start roughly in the front. I like to leave a little bit, can you see there? So I haven't gone right to the edge. I just think it looks nicer if you just leave a little bit of edge showing. So wrap that round, and then do the same on this side. And those ends will meet up nicely. And then with the other piece you're going to do just the same, but this one will be around the base. And again, I like to just leave a little bit of an edge. I just think it looks nice when it peeks through. Wrap it all around, and the same on that side. And that is the base of your box. That's your actual bag. So it's really quite cute. Then get whichever hole punch you're using. I'm just using this because it's a big bad boy and I like it. And you want to punch 4 holes, so you want one either end here, same on that side. I just do that. And this is where this bag differs from most, because we've got hanging handles rather than stiff handles. Because I was thinking of the beach when I was making this, and thinking of the seashore. I'm not being particularly OCD about the holes, so long as there's 4 holes, that's what matters. There we go. You've got your 4 holes. Then in comes your cherry cobbler baker's twine, and thread through 1 hole, and tie a knot. I did a double knot just to make sure it doesn't come through the holes. Obviously it depends on how big the hole punch of yours is. So then just trim off those tatty ends and do a drape so you know roughly where that end is going, and pop that through there and tie a knot. And I'm not sure, as I say, I'm not showing you how to make the cards today, and that's because pretty much all the techniques apart from die cutting are elements that are on the box. So you just transfer what I've done with the bag to use for the box, and there's your first handle. Hopefully you can see that there. And then just the same this side. And the full tutorial for this will be on my blog. So it'll be typed up for you as well as in video form. And if you have any questions, please ask either in the show more section or email me, and you'll find all of my contact details and my social media account details are listed at the bottom of my blog, and also in the show more section of today's video. Just do the other handle. Need to clean up my scissors, my paper shears obviously. They're getting a bit gunky, so they're not cutting nicely. I normally use my paper shears because they're super sharp. Right, so your little handles for your beach bag are on there, like that. And what we're going to do is just a little bit of decoration for the outside, and for that we're using the Petite Petals. You want the punch that goes with it, and there's my little stamp, and I'm using the little pansy stamp. And all you need is some scrap cardstock. I'm using Whisper White. You could also use black and then emboss it in white. Just checking. Right. I don't know if you can see here, but there is a little wider gap between the petals here. That you want to run along the bottom of your cardstock, because it will make it much easier when you punch out your flowers, because they will line up perfectly like so. So you just punch your little flowers out. There's your little flowers. I've done 3 there. You could do 2 or 3, 1 even. And 2 of those I'm going to stick on with a little glue dot. And the other one I will use a Stampin' Dimensional. So obviously make sure you've got your little flowers going on the front of the bag and not the back where the seams are. That's 1. If you can hear a funny noise and my little dog making a lot of fuss, it's because the doorbell's just gone. 1, 2, and then on this one a Stampin' Dimensional. And ta-da! There you have a little beach bag. And as I say, you've got 4 little, you probably get away with even 6 in there, but 4 is quite a nice number for little note cards. You've just got 4 little cards there, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the same, all using the same designer series paper, cardstock, and the colours with the stamping of the flowers, and the only difference is the sentiment from my original. So there you go, that's today's tutorial. Hope you enjoyed it. I would love to see what you make with this, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.